What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting Art of War stream. We are here on the day of a balanced data slate. We've got a big update to the game of Warhammer 40,000, and so we're here to talk to you about all the new rules. In this video, we're going to be talking about the brand new Dark Angels detachment, because you know what? I love the First Legion, I love my Dark Angels, and so we're here today to talk about the Wrath of the Rock.
That's right. I mean, they can't decide how they want to name their detachments, right? Or is it a concept? Is it a noun? But here it's Wrath of the Rock.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe it's the Rock Assault Group. Maybe we can call it that.
The Rock's Vengeance.
Absolutely.
The Rock in his hundreds or whatever.
Absolutely. Well, I look, we can smell what the Rock is cooking here. It's wrath.
I think so. Yeah, for sure. He's cooking infantry and mounted, actually, is what he's cooking.
Indeed he is. So if you are excited about this new balanced data slate, make sure you check out the rest of the videos that went live on our channel today. Of course, if you like this video and you like this content, like the video, share with your friends, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. All these things are massively helpful. And if you want to see some games played, maybe even with the new Wrath of the Rock detachment, make sure you check out the War Room. We've already recorded a game with the Wrath of the Rock, and so you'll be able to see that on the War Room. That's the link in the description below, thewarroom.vhx.tv. You can even get a free 3-day trial.
The Army Painter is my favorite hobby company in the entire world. My desk is literally full of Army Painter products, and it takes me from being an average painter to putting above tabletop standard models out into the tournament scene. Not only that, but the Army Painter has sponsored more competitive play than any other hobby company in the industry. They allow us to keep doing the things that we do. If you enjoy the Army Painter as much as I do, head over to thearmypainter.com where you can use the discount code ARTOFWAR5 to get a discount on your next order.
All right, well, this detachment, why don't we roll right into it?
Let's do it. So we're going to start off with the detachment rule, and that is dutiful tenacity. Each time an attack targets an infantry or mounted unit from the army, if the strength is greater than the toughness characteristic, subtract 1 from the wound roll.
So this is one in a long line of Space Marine detachments where GW is begging you, please stop taking vehicles. Just please stop.
Yeah.
They put out Librarius Conclave, where you have to be a psyker. Notably, no vehicles are psychers. They put out, Blood Angels, Angelic Inheritors, where you have to have characters in there. They put out the Space Wolves detachment, where you want to be Terminators. Like, please stop taking Vindicators. Stop taking Lancers.
You know, it's crazy to me that we keep getting these take infantry detachments while we keep getting these stop taking infantry Munitorm field manuals.
That definitely doesn't help. I mean, it also doesn't help that, like, you want some amount of shooting, and Space Marine's got some good shooting between, Ballistuses and Vindicators, Gladiators, Storm Speeders, Predators.
And every time we take Inceptors or Eradicators, they go open points.
Yeah, that's, what are we doing here?
But this detachment is definitely all about taking infantry or mounted. So, real nice classic for Dark Angels, right? Those are very much the units of emphasis when you thematically think of the chapter.
Absolutely. And you still will take tanks. You need what they do.
You do need some, yeah. All right, so pretty decent detachment roll, though. This is going to be often useful. Space Marines aren't such high toughness that this isn't going to come up.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this being, comparing it basically to Righteous Crusaders, where Righteous Crusaders detachment roll basically buffs your durability. So you're going into this saying, all right, this is an army designed to take hits, designed to grind through opponents, designed to bully objectives, and that's what we're looking for.
Absolutely. All right, let's see these enhancements.
All right, we got Tempered in Battle, which is an aura. Adepts of Stars model only. While friendly unit is within 6 inches of this model, you can reroll Battle Shock and leadership tests taken for that unit. This is the Sanguinor's aura, but it's the aura I always forget until 2 phases after I've forgotten to roll the Battle Shock check or reroll it.
I like this. I don't love it, but it's 10 points.
10 points is cheap, but the odds that this is going to be in the right spot to ever matter is like kind of low.
Yeah. I figure if I'm taking this, it's probably on like a combi lieutenant who's just like floating in the castle for a couple turns.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Here's the thing, though. If it's going to matter, you're just going to auto-pass the Battle Shock check. And how many leadership tests actually matter now? It's like, what, Angron's no fallback aura that nobody's going to take?
Hey, there's Fulgrim's the fullback aura that no one's going to take.
And no one's also going to take that. Yeah, there's multiple reasons nobody's going to take that. I suppose there's Mephiston's no fallback aura, but I'm doing my best to ensure no one ever takes that too.
I think we're going to start seeing him again.
Probably.
So a fine enhancement, not earth-shaking. Next up, though, is Ancient Weapons. This is a melee upgrade. So for this Adeptus Astartes model, they might as well say Captain only here. Improve the strength of melee weapons by 2, the AP by 1, and the damage by 1. That is a good combat enhancement.
So to be clear, Captain with this goes up to
10-3-3 with his Power Fist?
10-3-3.
Yeah.
You can make him 10-4-3 and this isn't the Gladius. But yeah, 10-3-3 with dev wounds. That's pretty good. I know that profile well.
So if you were to put this on a Gravis Captain, his Chainsword would go to 3 extra attacks at 6-2-3, and his Power Fist is still 10-3-3. That just hits hard.
Yeah, that guy's probably just great as like a solo operative. I mean, you could even run him with like aggressors or something. Now they've gone down in points.
Heavy Intercessors also went down.
Heavy Intercessors also went down.
And I actually really like T6 as the good break point of like anti-infantry stuff kind of bounces off of it sometimes. And then the anti-tank stuff is going to be winning it on 4s.
Yeah, I think everyone is going to start out putting this on a captain with a squad of Assault Intercessors or a captain with a squad of Stern Guard.
Yeah.
And I think that is missing what this could be. Whenever I see something like this, I want it to hit as many times as possible, not just once really hard. I want it to be hit hard and then say, if you don't do something about this, this is happening to you again. And so putting it on something that can actually like survive, hit again, really can lead to those snowball scenarios and put people out of the game.
Indeed.
All right, we got Deathwing Assault. It's a Deathwing model only with deep strike ability. So it's like the Terminator Captain?
Or Chaplain or Librarian.
Yeah. Bearer's unit can be set up using the deep strike ability in the reinforcement step of your first, second, or third movement phase, regardless of any mission rules.
So deep strike turn 1.
Yep, but can't rapid ingress specifically.
No, it's 10 points. It's fine. The most expensive part of this is that I have to take a Deathwing character.
Yeah, I'm not. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, we're probably not doing that.
If you could rapid ingress turn 1,
I'd be more interested.
that would be a lot more interesting.
The final enhancement here is Lord of the Ravenwing. So Ravenwing model only. You can reroll the advance and charge rolls made for the bearer's unit. A perfectly serviceable enhancement. It's 15 points, but yet you're once again running into the problem of I then have to take a Ravenwing character.
I'm not a fan of that.
There just aren't any that are worth taking.
Well, there's one, but he can't take an enhancement.
That's fair.
Yes.
All right. So enhancements, there's one clear winner that I think you take all the time, and that's actually a good selling point is how good you can make a combat character. But the rest of these are all opportunistic at best and leave at home at worst.
They have been doing some crazy things with combat buffs. Like, that is basically the same as the Lions of the Emperor one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just +2 strength instead of +3. But you can staple a lot more rules on that guy.
Yeah. There's some good combat enhancements coming out recently.
All right, we got Inescapable Justice for 2 CP. Any phase just after your Oath of Moment target is destroyed, you pick an Adeptus Custodes character on the battlefield, and you pick an enemy unit within 12, and visible, and that unit becomes your Oath of Moment target until the start of your next command phase. Listen, Ultramarines were having all the fun with Double Oath, and now you can too.
Yeah, nice to see this become an option. There are definitely going to be times when you want this. I feel like this stratagem's in the wrong detachment, if I'm being honest. So the weird thing is that I think Double Oath for Dark Angels is much better for shooting than for combat, because the Dark Angel combat units like almost exclusively hit on 2s. And Oath is good, don't get me wrong, but 2 CP reroll 1s isn't something I'm going to spend often. Where Oath I feel is really good, and trust me, I've been playing a lot of Double Oath recently, where Double Oath is really good is when you shoot 2 things, and so then you have to get a character close to the second thing you're going to shoot. And you also have to take a lot of guns. But the problem is that this detachment is telling you to take infantry, which is not a lot of guns.
No, infantry shooting is
very weak for Dark.
It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Hellblast people? Probably not.
Maybe you take 20 Hellblasters. One for the first Oath target, one for the second Oath target.
Yeah. I mean, you can. You literally can do that if you want. I will say, I thought this was a lot better before I remembered all your stuff hit on 2s. Because my first instinct with this would be shoot something to death, then reroll hits on the thing that's charging in.
Yeah, and I think where that's going to be best is you do exactly that, and you have that be like a captain and 5 stern guard, which could even have a good enhancement maybe, and they go in because they really benefit from that second oath target. But sometimes you hate when you're trying to use a stern guard squad and you're like, well, I have to use oath on the thing they're hitting because that's the whole point of the unit, and then you don't have another oath target.
Yeah,
the captain makes it go from 2 to 1.
That is one of the issues with stern guard I've noticed when you put a combat character in there, is assault intercessors are a little more restricted on what they can hit hard, but they don't have to take oath, which is pretty huge.
Yes.
It's fine. It's 2 CP, so you're probably going to want to captain it to make it 1, because if you're spending 2 on this, I think that's going to be a little much.
Yeah.
I think a fair price for this would be like 1 CP, but you can't free strat it. Like have some kind of rider where this can never cost less than 1 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you probably do want this to be a captain going in with, I don't know, something. Stern guard is probably a good idea.
Next up, we have Lion's Will for 1 command point in the command phase, so could be either. 1 Adeptus Astartes unit that is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units gets +1 to the OC characteristic. Now, this actually synergizes a little bit with the last stratagem that we'll be talking about later, but this also gives you a second roll. In addition, until the end of the turn, if your unit does not have the Deathwing, Ravenwing, or Vehicle keyword, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll.
What is the point of this?
The first half of the stratagem is kind of useful, if a little bit too niche. The second half, I'm just trying to figure out when I'm using this.
Orcs actually have a stratagem similar to this, where if you're in engagement range, you can spend a CP or something and get extra OC. It's kind of bad. It's man, like how often does that actually come up?
I think the real use of this strat is you charge something, you realize you didn't do quite enough damage in combat, and in their command phase, you say, oops, +1 OC, you're actually contested.
I guess, man. That is so niche to take up a spot in the 6 stratagems, especially when one of them is Armor of Contempt, right? Armor of Contempt is good, but it you get 5 stratagems as most base range.
I do like Armor of Contempt, though. I wouldn't give it up.
I'm not giving it up, but I'm just saying.
But yeah, the stratagem is, the +1 to hit part is the part where I'm just like, why is this here? Because it's not Deathwing, Ravenwing, or Vehicle. There is, spoiler alert, no ability to fall back and do anything with a non-Ravenwing unit in this detachment. So like, if someone it touches your Eradicators and they're on an objective, you can say, aha, my Eradicators are +1 OC. That's sometimes useful. Not all the time, sometimes. But then +1 to hit, why am I +1 to hit?
I guess it's good on Blade Guard. Do Blade Guard get Deathwing?
They do.
Okay.
So they don't get the +1 to hit.
I'm really struggling
here.
Like
who's gonna get tagged? Because you know who gets tagged and gets to still use +1 to hit? Vehicles. But they don't get the roll either. I'm like,
I mean, you know who this would be decent on? This would be decent on Hellblasters. Because Hellblasters almost all the time have a Lieutenant in there. And Lieutenant gives them fallback and shoot.
Not in Dark Angels because they take Azrael.
Well, you take Azrael and a Lieutenant.
Then they have the Deathman keyword. Yeah.
Okay, your second unit of Hellblasters.
That is true. The second unit of Hellblasters with the Lieutenant.
I don't see a point to this. I actually do not see a point to this stratagem.
All right.
Armor Contempt. It's a good stratagem.
It is a good stratagem.
Tactical Mastery. In your movement phase, 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army. Your unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. If your unit has the Ravenwing keyword, it is also eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back.
That's a good, useful stratagem. I love having access to this.
Yep. Samael, gets +1 damage on the charge? Or no, he does because Outriders get it.
That's because of Outriders. Samael gives advance and charge.
So this is good on any Outrider plus Samael unit because you really want to trigger the fallback and charge back in, right?
Yeah.
The advance and charge half of it, obviously he already has. You won't use it on him. That's good on Terminators, that sort of thing. I'm really getting a vibe out of this army that this army really would like to not have 5-mans be the cap on Deathwing Knights.
Would be cool. But yeah, 1 Deathwing Knight squad advancing and charging. You can kind of do 1 unit ingresses, 1 advances and charges, try to get 2.
And one of them just naturally hits.
Yeah.
Right? One of them naturally connects on their front lines. One of them advances and charges and hits their front lines. One of them rapids.
Potentially, yeah. You can still try to get them all. I like having access to stratagem, so that's good. I do kind of wish the fall back and do stuff was a little less limited, just because if I'm being honest, there is half of a Ravenwing unit that is worth taking in Dark Angels, which is Samael's unit.
Yeah, that's actually it. Now, what I will say is that this would have been a lot better. This would have been a lot better if you could put it on Deathwing stuff, because Deathwing Knights, while they love being in combat, tend to get stuck there and bullied.
It's not impossible.
It's not crazy that, your opponent charges in, kills 2.5. The remaining 3 don't actually win that fight.
They don't want to stick around.
They don't want to stick around because they're going to lose another guy and a half on the following turn and like lose the fight.
Yep.
That's how you beat Deathwing Knights actually. And this would be really nice if they could fall back and charge. It's a big part of Gladius actually. They can just all fall back and all charge back.
Yeah. So I like the stratagem though. The next one is Relics of the Dark Age. This is 1 command point in the shooting phase. 1 Adeptus Astartes infantry or mounted gets +2 to the strength characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit.
Yeah, those Hellblasts aren't looking so silly now, are they?
They're not. There's 2 units that I think actually really benefit from this, and then like I've got like a sleeper pick for a third. Hellblasters are the obvious one. Going from strength 8 to 10 is a very relevant breakpoint. Where I think this is best is Eradicators.
Yeah, Eradicators.
Strength 9 to 11, where you're wounding those traditional battle tank profiles on 3s instead of 5s for a command point is very, very much a big breakpoint. I love Eradicators with this.
Yeah, Eradicators were one of like the better units to benefit from Firestorm as well because they go to strength 10. So any kind of strength buff to Eradicators makes them significantly better because they usually wound tough targets on 5s, which is like, okay, they can do that, right, with full real estate and wound, but they'd really like to just be like, hey, they all hit, they all wound, here you go.
Yep. Yeah, so there's a lot going on with Eradicators that I quite like. Now, I think what I like the most is that traditionally, in order to wound with Eradicators, you kind of had to put an Apothecary Biologician to get the lethal hits.
Yeah.
That guy got several points hikes. Eradicators got several points hikes, and the package kind of dropped. You can take just 6 Eradicators, spend a CP, and it is going to be better at wounding than it was before. And you're saving points off of the old package. So, now it's not as good as old Fire Discipline, but in other detachments that didn't take an enhancement, I think 6 Eradicators with +2 strength is going to be better than 6 Eradicators with an Apothecary and no enhancement.
Kind of sucks that unit can't really split fire because this would be amazing if you could split fire.
You can.
I
split fire all the time, honestly. You just put 4 shots in each direction. Wounding on 3's full rerolls. I'm happy I'm going to put 3 AP4s on any given, battle tank.
Yeah, I mean, short range kind of makes that annoying.
Oh yeah, that part is true.
Yeah.
That part's true.
I mean, I would really love for this unit to step out and just dome 2 tanks, and it can do that, but it does require the tanks to be close to each other.
Yeah. The final stratagem.
All right, Leonine Aggression. End your opponent's charge phase 1 CP, and Adeptus Astartes unit from your army within 3 inches of an enemy unit, or a Deathwing unit from your army within 6. Your unit now declares a charge that only targets 1 or more of those enemy units, and you resolve that charge. Now, everybody who reads these kind of things on the first go misreads what they do. Because what happens is you look at a detachment that does this. I mean, Michael did this when we reviewed Spaceful Saga of the Bold and goes, what, don't I already have access to heroic intervention? But the key thing here is they did not declare a charge. Okay, they just walked onto your objective and you're on the other side of the objective and you charge them in their turn, which is very bad for them because it means you fight first.
Yeah, this is really good for when you get a Deathwing unit because the 6 inches is so much better than 3.
Yes.
So much.
To be clear, you don't actually fight first. You just fight before them because it's their turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get a 40 millimeter base wholly onto an objective marker, like the whole puck,
the
big 7-inch neoprene mat, if you get a 40 millimeter wholly on that, you are within 6 inches of every point on the mat. And so you can charge anyone who touches that objective. And that is really valuable because Dark Angels are not a high OC army traditionally, and your +1 OC only works if they charge you. So now you have, if you charge me, I will swing and get +1 OC. And if you don't charge me, I will charge you and hit you, and if you're alive, I'll get +1 OC.
Yeah, I mean, what you can also do is set up like scouts in front, Terminators behind. If they walk onto the point with like 5 troops or Reavers or something to just take it away, you charge them, you move on with your life. If they charge you, you heroic them, you move on with your life. It becomes a lot harder to take that objective away.
So very good for objective control, very difficult to remove some Deathwing on objectives here.
Behind a wall, crucially.
Especially behind a wall, yeah. If you can just get shot, then, well, you're -1 wound. But you are harder than normal.
It does help.
But yeah, I quite like this stratagem as well.
Yeah, that one's very good. Old 9th edition heroics are kind of making a comeback.
Yeah.
The thing to keep in mind in 9th edition was that the 3-inch heroic was niche and was okay, wasn't great, but every character could do it, so you'd see it every so often. The 6-inch heroic was where it became money, and this is a 6-inch version of that. Yep. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, getting the 6-inch version on the Deathwing really incentivizes you to take the Deathwing data sheets.
I mean, you're taking 3 units of Deathwing Knights in this army. I
You
don't
certainly
know if it could be more clear on that.
You definitely are.
If Deathwing Knights were battle line, this detachment would be so much better. Because you just run out of data sheets that want to use these rules.
Yeah.
That is kind of an issue here. 15 Deathwing Knights, then you're looking around going, all right, now what do I spend the remaining 1,200
12
points?
Eradicators.
You know, you certainly can do that. You can do that. I would not necessarily recommend it,
But I'm going to do.
you certainly can. I mean, T6 -1 to wound is frustrating to deal
Yeah,
with.
it takes a long time to deal with those things. So when I look at this attachment as a whole, I'm a little confused. There's a lot of rules in here while reading this where I say, that's nice. That's nice. But it doesn't seem to come together into an extremely cohesive, clear game plan of what the army wants to be, other than you take the good Dark Angel units that aren't vehicles.
That's not a good, because if you're doing
Yeah.
that, right, just take the Gladius.
Which also rewards all those units? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and rewards them in ways that are better for how 40k plays.
Yeah, especially I think at higher levels, what is more important than being alive is being where you're supposed to be.
Yes.
And
Because
now-
that usually determines whether or not you're alive.
exactly. The best way to be alive is to be in the right spot, not to be in the wrong spot and survive.
And this, I don't think, provides enough for these units to forgo that in favor of just being tough. And they are tough. They are pretty.
They're tougher than normal, noticeably so. And so I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this attachment. I think this is a nice change of pace if you like to play the Dark Angel detachments when you play Dark Angels. This is going to feel better than basically all of the existing ones, because the existing Dark Angel detachments are all mediocre to bad. This is a mediocre plus.
I actually don't think this detachment is bad. I think it doesn't have the unit support to be good.
That's fair.
I think, again, it really needs a second unit that is a grinding, tough melee unit. And it does not have that.
Yeah, just the Knights.
It's just Deathwing Knights. If you dip into Deathwing, anything else, right?
Mhm.
Terminators of any stripe that aren't Deathwing Knights, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, because the normal Dark Angel Terminators or just the normal Space Marine Terminator data sheets are very...
They're pretty mediocre. Terminators are like just so bad. They're 3 attacks that
They make me sad.
hitting on 4s. What are we doing?
The normal ones hit on 3s.
The
I'm
normal
thinking
power
again,
fists
power fist,
hit on 3s.
Yeah,
I
they're
guess.
cheap.
The assault Terminators hit on 4s.
That they do.
They're tougher, I guess.
They get... No, they don't get a +1 to hit because they're Deathwing. Dang it. It gets me every time.
Yeah.
There's like a little bit just of like a lack of a clear optimal direction, because I think at the end of the day, for me, rather than this -1 to wound, which is really cool, the heroic I genuinely like, and I love the ancient weapons captain. There's a lot of fun things in here. I've played a game with it. I had fun. I'm going to try some more things. I think Vanguard veterans at their new price point are actually quite good in this attachment, because they are tougher than a JPI because they have a random storm shield. They're the -1 to wound on a T4 characteristic is going to come up quite often.
All the time.
All the time.
It means you're going to be winning on 3s most of the time.
Yeah, 3s or 4s.
By things that would ordinarily cleave through Marines.
Yeah, like things that normally like just like spike JPIs into the round are going to be like, oh, I'm wounding on 4s and you get a 4-up invul. Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see a skew here where you do take a bunch of Terminators and a bunch of Blade Guard. Because Blade Guard are actually pretty cheap too.
Yeah, that's true.
Blade Guard with -1 to wound are really annoying to deal with. And you take obviously 15 Deathwing Knights. And then you take some, Vanguard veterans. And that army is going to be heckin' tough. I'll put it that way.
Yep.
And you're going to have some offense issues. None of those units hit stupendously hard.
And
It is going to be tough.
There's no output buffs for combat here, but you want to take the infantry, and the infantry are 90% combat based.
And again, your hardest hitting unit by a significant amount in this would be the Deathwing Knights.
The Deathwing Knights and one captain plus his friends.
Yeah, and
Those are your hard hitters.
Deathwing Knights output is a little sketchy to say the least.
Yeah. It's good, but not into everything. So you can't rely on it to be your only source of damage.
Yep, and if medium strength damage 2, AP2 is where you're hanging your hat on every single profile, you're going to run into some issues. Like maybe Berserker Warband just -1 damages you across the board and says, oops, things like that. Maybe, you run into some 2-up save spam Armor of Contempting unit that is just, oops, sorry.
Yep. Usually the Knights win those grinds, but, not always. And there's not a lot of play options. If you're not going to win that, you don't get to do anything besides grind.
Yeah, you have to.
So I think this can be a good detachment, but I worry that it's not quite specialized enough to surpass the top options for Dark Angels right now. Because at the end of the day, the rules here, because there's no damage increases, I don't like anything Ravenwing here. Samael kind of makes the cut, but a Samael who doesn't have a lance access or any kind of damage buff at all, I get a little worried about.
Yeah, I mean, he's to the point where you probably might even like not include him.
That's where I'm at. Is I like after thinking about it more, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I actually take Samael, because it's 195 for that 4 model unit, and it's a good unit. But if it just goes in without lance, without rerolls, it's just like there.
Yeah, I mean, this is not really a weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's if you want to take a big toughness skew in teams, I could see that being kind of annoying for some things to deal with.
Yeah. So we'll see. I already have played 1 game with this. You can see it in the worm, I think, already right now. And of course, I'm going to be playing more games with this coming up soon. So I'm going to see what I can find in here. I do like the things it does uniquely, but we'll see how it stacks up to the other Space Marine detachments.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure you check out the rest of the videos that we're putting out today. There's a lot more detachments to talk about, a lot more new rules to talk about, and of course, we'll be playing games them as well. Please like the video, share with your friends, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.